Effective regulation is essential to deliver on the government's promise of high environmental standards and will be an essential part of a wider package of measures required to meet commitments in the 25-year Environment Plan. Regulation is needed to protect the environment, reduce the financial burden of pollution, and to ensure that the new environmental land management scheme only rewards activities that go over and above baseline standards. The scale of agricultural pollution is widely documented. For example, farming is one of the main causes of poor river health. Estimates suggest soil is being lost at 10 times the rate of creation. Farming generates 88% of ammonia emissions, and greenhouse gas emissions from farms have been static since 2010. The River Axe is in an unfavourable condition and declining, resulting from the intensification of dairy farms and maize growing. The effects of an inadequate enforcement regime are clear. The Environment Agency found that despite a decade of advisory visits, 95% of farms visited did not comply with slurry storage regulations, and 49% of farms were polluting the River Axe. An evaluation of the impacts of a 3-year regulatory farm visit campaign suggested that 30 kilometres of the river had been enhanced, and that for every pound spent in regulatory visits resulted in £33 worth of investment. This shows that you cannot rely on incentives and advice alone, and that this approach could be applied to other areas of England. In a 2018 report called Saving the Earth, we projected that the cost of replicating SEPA's enforcement regime in England would be roughly £6 million a year, and that to support compliance and increase good farming practice, investment in advice of £3.2 million would also be required. However, due to the level of ambition in the 25-year Environment Plan and the ongoing failure to meet legal obligations, a higher level of funding is now needed. The funding required to drive compliance is dwarfed by the costs of inaction. For example, the annual cost of soil erosion across England and Wales comes to £1.2 billion, while the cost associated with ammonia emissions from agriculture in the UK exceeds £0.7 billion. Against these figures, the extra investment that we're calling for is good value for money. We would be set to gain a fairer enforcement system, multiple benefits for society and the environment, and private sector investment would go much further.